Welcome to Pocket Watch Podcast. I'm Zach,
Cruz,
Jake, and we're fucking Pocket Watch Podcast.
Yes, sir. Laugh at us or learn with us. We're here to grow.
And growing, we're fucking doing, man. Welcome to Pocket Watch Podcast. We got a new guest for you guys today. Like always, what we've been doing for you guys weekly after week. You know how it is.
That's right. We got Anthony S. Ferraro. The S is for superhuman. Super dad coming soon. My man is a judo, guitar, freaking podcaster, motivational skateboarder first and foremost. And you have zero excuses because he's blind, man. This is the most interesting dude I've ever stumbled across. We are so happy to have you on, bro. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, bro. This is awesome, man. So, all right. We'll get straight into it because, you know, the traffic you're bringing, they're already tired of listening to me, man. But we talked about it. You're doing so much things, man, like skateboarding, you know, you did the wrestling, you freaking play guitar, like you're living your best life, man. And you're blind. Have you always been blind?
Yeah, I was born with a degenerative eye condition called Leber's congenital amaurosis, LCA for short. And when I was born, it was like it was still really bad vision, but it was like as far as like 20/20 goes, I had like 20/400, but it was degenerative. So as I grew up, it just got worse and worse. And now it's like light perception and like some shadows during the day.
Huh. Okay. I didn't know that.
Okay, so you still have like a little bit of something, a little bit of faintness there.
Yeah, like in the perfect natural lighting outside, like maybe I can make out like if something's like darker than something that like the grass is darker than the sidewalk on like a perfect day.
Oh, okay, that's
Stuff
cool.
Like
That's
that,
cool.
But can't really make out like objects or anything. But I'm lucky because I used to be able to like I said, like somewhat see, so I could remember what like, you know, like when people describe things like a tree or, you know, the sky, like whatever it might be, like I know in my head I can like recall those things.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. So that's awesome you're able to experience that.
But how old were you when it was like at the point where you're like, fuck?
Oh man, probably till I was like in like maybe 5th grade. I didn't even like believe I was blind. Like I used to be out with my mom and I refused to use the cane. I refused to like do a lot of things. And I used to bump into people and my mom would be like, sorry, he's blind. And I'd turn around and be like, no, I'm not, you know?
Yeah.
But then like 7th grade, I lost a good chunk. And then like junior year of high school. And then even like 2 years ago, you just kind of wake up one day and you're like, shit, I can't see as much as I once did. And it's weird.
Oh man, yeah.
Man, did you go through like, did your mom or whatever try to put you through any treatments to recover it or whatever?
No, we went to eye doctors all through my childhood, but like a bunch of specialists and stuff. But there's nothing you could do to help this eye condition. But there's like, with everything, there's like research being done and stuff. So like when I was maybe 7 or 8, we went to the specialist and they were doing these like gene therapies and like people were getting some vision restored. And I remember going there and being like, oh man, I'm about to get like more vision. Like this is crazy. Like, you know, it's going to be insane. I can't wait. And then it turned out like after I did all the testing that I didn't have the right genetic like eye condition. Like my type of blindness has like hundreds, if not thousands of different types of genes. And I didn't have the right gene that they were doing the breakthroughs with.
And at
so
that
I was
point,
just bummed out.
Oh, it's like,
yeah,
of course I don't have the fucking right genes. Like, oh
Yeah,
my
it's
God,
crazy.
dude.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's
Man.
tough. But you know what though, man, I have to say though, like even with the cards that you've been dealt, like you have lived a more full life than majority of people have done, and you've achieved a lot more in life than the majority of people do. And it's like inspirational to see, you know what I mean?
I appreciate that. I just like, you just got to live your life, man. No matter what situation you're in, it's just like, whatever you're doing, like do it to the best of your ability and take chances, have fun. And, you know, like you're going to fail a bunch of times, but you can't get where you're going if you don't fail and like learn from your mistakes and just keep going.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Perfectly put.
And I think a lot of people, right? Like you're not obviously the only person that has went blind or is blind that had a great life or whatever. But it's like the fact that how you document it, you know what I mean? And put it out there. It's like, that's the inspiration being put out into the world, you know?
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. It's really just the time we live in now. Like maybe those people in the past haven't had that platform or like an opportunity or, you know, resource to be able to do that. And we're very fortunate at the time we live in. So
and also not a badass, right? Like, geez, like I don't care if I can see or not. I can't skateboard like you, man. Like guitar is like a struggle for me. You know what I mean? So it's like you got some talent, bro.
Listen, man, we all go through our struggles. When I picked up the guitar, I didn't even know what rhythm was. My family, my dad used to call me stone hands. My family wouldn't let me practice in the same room. I was so bad. And like, it's like with anything, it's, you know, how many hours and how much, you know, how much like,
are you willing to put into it?
What you're putting into those hours, like how valuable the hours are. Cause you could do like, you could be playing guitar for 10 years, but not know how to do much because you're not putting too much effort into those hours, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
I saw something where it was like, if you put effort, like it was like 1 hour a day for a year, talent wise, it puts you in the top 10% at that thing. You know what I mean? Right? And it's like,
they say it takes 10,000 hours to master something.
That's what it was. It was the 10,000 hours. So whatever that calculation is in a year per day or whatever, that's what the fuck he said. Yes, it's like you put some effort into it, man. I mean, that's true, bro.
I mean, everyone can make excuses, you know, no matter if you got nothing wrong with you or not. Excuses are a problem.
Yeah. No, and I love what you got in your bio. Is like the only disability is a bad attitude.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Shit. Dude, we talked about like an episode or two ago how Elon Musk is coming out with this Neuralink and stuff, and he's using that to like help people see again and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with it.
That's what we were curious about.
So like, and like we're ignorant as hell, right? But like Anthony, you put into perspective, you know what I mean? Like how great of a life you could live if you're blind and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like when that topic was first brought up, I was like, hey, like that's a good way of trying some shit, right? If somebody's super miserable with their life because they can't see or whatever, but like I look at you and I'm just like, no, this guy is not trying to risk shit. Like he's living his best life. Like why?
Yeah, I would love to listen. If there was something other than putting something in my brain, like if there was like a shot I could take and I could see tomorrow, I'd take it yesterday. But like, I don't know, man. It's
scary.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, the whole Neuralink thing, but to each his own, you know?
Yeah, man.
If it's gonna help someone, it's gonna help someone.
Plus these days, I mean, you're gonna be a father, man. You got a wife, you got a home, come on, man.
And I can't act bro. Like, you know, like people say, oh, you're so positive. Like, yeah, I try to be, but some days, like, it's like anyone, dude. Yeah. Depression's real. Like, some days suck. Like, you wake up, you don't want to get out of bed, but it's about getting out of bed those days that you really don't want to, that really where the growth comes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's 100%.
I was talking to one of my coworkers the other day about his kids and stuff, and like, you know, they're little shits or whatever the case is, and they're getting old, like high school, senior, whatever, and they're really having problems like trying to help their character and stuff. And one thing I told them was like, yo, your kid never went through anything in life, man. Like, it's like, how are you grateful for a sunny day without rainy days kind of thing, right? Like that analogy.
Gotta experience some adversity. A lot of people, like I grew up in a small beach town, and the people that don't really ever get out of here, they're kind of sheltered and lack like culture and adversity. And I think the more you travel, the more you go out and put yourself in uncomfortable situations, it's like, that's where, like I said, the growth really happens. And that's where you like learn about, oh man, I might be blind, but it's not so bad because I still got my legs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There you go.
Dude.
It's all about perspective. I saw the post one time, and basically it was a guy that was there was a guy that was basically like sitting in a wheelchair and was like, oh man, I wish I can ride that. I wish I can walk. And there was somebody that was walking. They're like, oh, I wish I can ride a bike. And there was somebody that was riding a bike and they're like, oh, I wish I had a car. And it was just like,
exactly. It's like there's always someone in a better position than you.
exactly. That's what it was saying. It was just like, be happy for what you have because the next person may want what you have. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Perception's everything, dude. That's why like those traumatic, if any, right? Like, I mean, I feel like you have more of an understanding of that than we ever could have, but it's like, you know, we all went through traumatic events and it makes us not shits in our own ways, right? Or appreciate a normal day. Like if nothing happens today, like some people are miserable from that, you know?
Man, my niece told me when she was like 8 years old, she was like, comparison's the thief of joy. So stop comparing yourself to everyone.
Hell yeah.
From an 8-year-old. So it's like, damn.
That's
Hell
powerful.
yeah, man.
That's powerful.
So
that'll always live with me.
So and like while we're here, it's like, I mean, as you're going through that progression in high school or whatever, I mean, you weren't always, were you always like, I'm gonna try whatever I can and I'm gonna do the best I can and like really positive, or I
was very fortunate. I grew up I'm the youngest of 5, and all my siblings, like, you know, they didn't treat me any differently. Neither did my parents. But my mom, she's the second oldest of 13. So I had 60 cousins that all grew up in the same area. And no one could treat me any differently. Like I had to keep up. So like we were, you know, skateboarding, surfing. I tell everyone, like I used to ride bikes until the day I started hitting parked cars. My mom was like, so like I love trying stuff, and like if someone tells me you can't do something, that like gives me all the more motivation to try and do it, you know?
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. That's dope.
What, all right. Skateboarding. So you've been skateboarding for a long time, huh?
Not really, man. Like I've been on a skateboard since I was a kid, but I wasn't really trying to get good. I wasn't very good at all. And then maybe like 3.5 years ago, I went to this meetup with all these other blind skateboarders, and like really good skateboarders, and they kind of taught me some stuff to be able to progress on my own. So like the past 3.5 years, I've been doing it pretty regularly, and that's been like one of the things I love the most right now.
That's badass.
And what I saw, you're ranked 1 in your division right now, or you know where you're competing?
No, I've won a few contests, but more in judo, I'm first in the country for para judo.
Really?
Yeah, and then I think I'm like 22nd or 23rd in the world.
Woo! Remind me not to fuck with you if I see you in person, bro.
I'm a lover, man.
Yeah, one love.
One love, but I'll drop you quick.
Like fighting.
No, that's awesome though. Yeah, it's pretty cool because how I originally discovered you, it was around, I think it was like during COVID time when I first ran across your stuff, and you're like, huh?
That was the beginning too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I was watching your stuff during COVID, and I loved it because I've always been interested to know how people like that suffer with like vision disability or vision impairment, how they're able to cope around with daily life. And you're like, I'm blind. This is how watch me make coffee.
Yeah,
or I'm blind. Watch this.
Brush my teeth.
Yeah. So I was loving those videos, and I was just like watching those. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. Because I'm stupid. I was just like, I don't know how this all works. And it was really cool to see like all the different things that you're able to do, like in terms of like devices that you have that are assistant with helping you pour.
Like a minor tweak with something. Like,
yeah.
You know,
and then
like
I started
do similar things, and then I just got to make it a little different.
Exactly. And then I started seeing you skateboarding too. I'm like, yo, this guy fucking skateboards. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. And I started looking at your stuff, and I saw like back in the day you were posting like a lot of wrestling stuff. And I'm like, dude, this guy is freaking awesome, man. He's been doing so much cool stuff. And he's just living life, bro. That's awesome. I love it.
Oh, thank you, man.
So you're all right. So you're doing really good in judo.
Doing all right.
All right. Well,
humble.
I would compete in the women's division, maybe. But did you wrestle in high school?
Yeah. So I started wrestling in 7th grade, and I was awful, man. I went like I had like 2 wins and 12 losses, and one of my wins was a forfeit where you're just going to get your hand raised. And I was like, I got to get good at this. I want to get better. And I started going to a wrestling club like 4 nights a week and tournaments every weekend with my dad. And, you know, for the first couple months, I couldn't even score a point in the tournaments. And then I was like getting pretty overwhelmed, like discouraged. And I was like, you know, I'm putting all this work in. Why isn't anything happening? And I switched my goal to like winning to trying to score a point. And then after a couple months, I scored my first point in the tournament. And then I, 1 point turns into 2, and then it's just like kind of snowballs there, and you start to realize your like progress. And then in 8th grade, I ended up going like undefeated in wrestling and winning like all the championships or whatever. And then high school, I was supposed to go to the same high school as my older brothers, but I had a handwritten letter of acceptance in 7th grade. And then in 8th grade, that person passed away who wrote that letter, and they sent me a letter saying, you're no longer accepted to this school. We don't want to have to make any accommodations for you, yada, yada. And it was pretty traumatic, like, not being able to go somewhere because it's something you can't control. And I ended up going to this other school that reached out, and I did pretty well. I was like the captain of varsity for 3 years. I won like 122 matches in high school. It was a good journey.
Jeez, I didn't know that. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, there's a whole on Amazon Prime. There's a documentary.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
A Shot in the Dark. So that kind of captures all my wrestling career, especially my senior year, and then like a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, check out the documentary. Those watching, it dropped 2017, right, on Prime.
Yeah, I think like around Christmas time, yeah.
27. So I mean, and you said it was the start like during COVID. Like start of what? Like your shorts and
doing social media, really. Like I had a social media, but I didn't really do much. I mean, I would like post pictures and write a caption or whatever. But I ended up, what was it? So like my wife and I went on this. When the pandemic hit, everything was paused, like judo, anything like that. And music was the one way I was like able to make people smile. So we went on a 10,000-mile, 7-week cross-country road trip where I brought my guitar and an amp, and we just like set up in all these places. And I was live streaming it to Facebook, and there was only like 3 people that would watch. And then we get back from, we did 10,000 miles, 7 weeks, and like, it was amazing everything we were able to accomplish, just being able to do that and like brand this whole tour and stuff, but with no following. And then when I got back, I was like, I want to be able to reach more people. Like, I was scrolling on Facebook, and like the negativity was so powerful because people were like bashing each other about different opinions, and it was time of the election. So it was just like, it was crazy stuff. And I was like, excuse me, I want to make like a positive impact on this like social feed because it was really bugging me. And my girl was trying to tell me about TikTok, and all I thought was it was just like a dance app. And
we all did.
She was even like, you should do a dance with your cane, it might go viral. And I was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. And I was like against it for a while. And then I started scrolling through it and seeing like people doing like vlogging and different types of things. I was like, let's just try it out. I'll like introduce myself and like tell people who I am. And I had like 10 followers on TikTok, and the video had like, I was just like, what's up, I'm Anthony? Like, I look pretty normal, right? But I'm blind. And then I list out like the things I do in my life. And then I went to sleep. The video had like 100 views. Woke up, it had like 40,000 views, and like all these messages and people following me and like asking, all these different things and really positive stuff. And just kind of we made like a 30-day plan to keep posting every day different stuff. And it kind of just blew up from there. And it was beyond my wildest imagination. Like if you would have asked me 2 years ago, we have over 1 million followers on TikTok, I'd be like, no, you're crazy. But like, it just happened. And then, it slowly snowballed to other platforms too, like, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. And was able to like, because ever since I was a kid, people would ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I'd just say, I want to help people. And it just kind of really like, being able to reach so many people and like help people. And, with the positivity comes a lot of hate, but you just have to kind of ignore that stuff.
Yep.
And it was just like very rewarding. And like, it doesn't happen overnight, but like you just got to put the work in, you got to put the time in, and whatever you're trying to do, it'll happen eventually.
Bro,
amen.
Like, first of all, I can't tell you the amount of guests, and not at your level, right? But like the amount of guests we've had on that made a pivot during COVID, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it was a time where a lot of people sat around and did nothing and just ate junk food. And I was like, this is a time to be creative and like really try and like, make things happen. Like I know a lot of people that just, made things happen during the pandemic. I know a lot of people that just kind of slowly deteriorated.
Right. Wasted it. Yeah. I mean, at the smallest level, you hear all the stories about people that got like, they took advantage of like the rent relief and like debt relief and like some of the government.
Some people are just blowing it on like alcohol and drugs and stuff.
Yeah. But there's some people too that like went to school, right? It's like, hey, I never had parents that supported me so I could go to school. And they used that support to like go to school during that time. And it's like, yes, like that's like the lowest level of like what you're talking about. It's like,
that's not even low, man. That's just smart. And that's being like innovative and creative and just like really motivated.
Fuck yeah, man. This is awesome. The other thing I wanted to say was you talked about as a kid, you just want to help people and you just want to put out positivity. Like you kind of understood what the landscape was like in social media world during that time. And you were trying to kind of counteract it. That, man, the amount of people, first of all, like these social media platforms, the algorithm goes off of engagement, right? But I like as humans, like when there's a fight at school, everybody runs to the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
We love negativity. Like why?
It's so it's bad, man. Like I had hundreds, if not thousands, of people that every day try and like discredit my blindness and say I could see and I'm just faking it for followers. I'm like, I would trade you every one of my followers for your vision, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Shit.
But it's crazy. People, keep commenting it. It drives engagement. I don't care.
We actually had a post the other day. We had some girl on and she was talking about how she was in a long-term relationship and then that kind of ended. And we posted the clip on Instagram and oh my God, like what was it? Probably like 70 comments in one day of people just bashing her, saying like some mean, negative, ugly things. It was crazy. And like, they were just making assumptions out of everything too.
It comes down to like hurt people. Like, like people that are hurting try and hurt other people to bring them down to their level, or they just they have no perspective in that situation and they just want to, it's crazy. Everyone's got an opinion nowadays, and even on things they know nothing about. So it's wild.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's just like that's the thing, and it's hard too because I feel bad for the platforms too. Like not really, but also like how do you got to find a way to decipher Anthony like Asfvision engagement with positivity versus like all these people trashing this girl on a clip engagement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's wild. It's definitely upsetting at times, but you gotta kind of become numb to it. If it comes with the territory, if you grow a platform, there's gonna be a lot of haters. No matter what you're doing. Like the more success you have with things, the more negativity. It's like the enemy trying to pull you down. Like I'm a very spiritual person. And I think, like the more God is on your side, the more the devil's going to try and attack you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And man, like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm sure you probably heard it, but like, it's crazy. Cause like very briefly talking with you is very much like your blindness is a blessing to a lot of people, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's some bullshit for you though.
No, it's what it is. Cause I always say like, there's parts of being blind that aren't like that are actually like really lucky in the sense of I don't get to judge people off their first image glance. Like judging a book by their cover. I have to get to know people for their personality, for what they're about. I don't get distracted by a lot of these visual things that people are always distracted with, and I just kind of keep my head down and grind as much as possible.
Yeah, man, that's true. That's super true. I didn't think about that. That's a great perspective.
How do you feel like? I mean,
listen, being blind sucks, but it's like you got to take the good with the bad.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like being short sucks, you know. Like
Yeah, that's me. I'm 5'5", bro. I feel you.
Oh shit, yeah, I'm like 5'7".
Yeah, he said, "Oh shit," you know it's bad when he says "oh shit."
No, I'm saying I didn't mean to call out.
No, I'm just joking, bro. It's all good. We're making jokes. It's all
You
good.
would never.
Yeah, no, but it's that, like, you know, people will meet me in real life and they're like, "Damn, bro, I thought you'd be a lot taller." And I'll be like, "Oh shit, is that like what are you trying to say now?"
How tall are you, motherfucker?
Yeah.
No, that's good though. I mean, man, that it's kind of cool though when you put it in that perspective, because it is. While it's like, yes, we can't appreciate being able to judge people, you know, first impression, book by its cover, but there's also something beautiful in like those that are in your life. You know, we know at least. You know their core, right? Like you had to get to know all these people, man. You know, like
yeah, man. Everyone's got a story too. Like you guys know, you do a podcast, so it's like the homeless guy on the street's got an amazing story. Like everyone's got something to contribute, whether they do it or not.
yeah. What? Also to the you know, judging a book by its cover and stuff. When did you meet your girl?
We met in the end of 2017. Like December at the beach. My buddy, my good friend from growing up, he's now married to her sister, and she actually introduced them. And then one day I came over his house after I just got back from Tokyo for like judo and stuff, and she had just gotten back from like traveling the world and like living in Thailand for a couple months.
Oh, wow.
And we met at his house, and we both like, you know, had very similar interests. She was just very cool, and like she was very like off the bat helpful to me too. Like she would notice I was struggling with like getting around somewhere, and she would just grab me. Like she wasn't scared to do anything. Like she's very straightforward, and you never wonder what she's thinking because she always speaks her mind, which it's a good and a bad thing, you know. But she's amazing, and I asked her sister for her number, and then asked her to be my date to my film premiere for my documentary in New York City. And then she kind of learned a lot about me in like 2 hours. And we both travel so much. She works remotely in like tech world, and I, you know, have to travel so much for judo and other things. And we were both traveling the world alone, basically. And we were like, why don't we travel together? So she would come with me to tournaments, and then we'd like travel around for like a week after, and it just kind of just kept working out, and we just like fell in love and got married 2021 in Maine, and like during the pandemic on a friend's property with like all our friends and family there. It was awesome. So, you know, I got really lucky.
Yeah,
That's beautiful, bro.
I saw some of those videos, man. Those were awesome. I'm getting married July next year. I can't wait for that.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks, man. That's
amazing.
buckle
up.
Buckle up.
No, but first of all, what a fucking first date. Like you breezed past that. That's the flyest. That's the most.
A lot of people say that. I'm like, oh shit. It does kind of sound like.
No, it's like, hey, like,
like the red carpet. Like all my family was there and friends, and like there was a lot of people. She was just like, she was a champ. Like she was taking me around, you know, telling me who I was talking to. Like just, it was so natural. Like. Even after the documentary, after the filming, we went to this like bar after, and we're walking through the city, and it's like the coldest day ever, and it's like snow everywhere and stuff, and we're about to cross the street, and she's like, "You sure you don't need help?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." And I went to like step, and I like stepped in a snow embankment and almost ate shit. And she's like, "Yeah, of course you don't need help, right?" And then she grabs me and helps me. So it was like she just knew what to do from the get go.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. That's
awesome, bro.
From the get go, too, is important because it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I felt like I could, like, growing up being blind, you have a lot of anxiety, especially in social settings, because you just want to fit in. You want to be a normal person, normal kid, whatever. Like, I used to try and fake that I wasn't blind. And the second like girls would find out I was blind, they would like stop talking to me, probably because I was an idiot for lying. And second, like the blindness sometimes too scared people away. So it was like different, and it gave me a lot of like insecurities. And when I met her, I felt like I could really be myself, and like I could use my cane and not be embarrassed. I could like just be who I am, and that's like the most important thing with a relationship.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Even with your like cousins and your brothers and stuff, like that's the same shit. It's like, look, the anxiety is not like, it's like, no, you don't want to fit in, you want to stand out, but also like, don't treat me different. You know what I mean?
No, I hated standing out because I was like, I always stood out as like the blind person.
Yeah.
I was always like, from kindergarten to 6th grade, I went to a school for the blind in Philly. And then in 7th grade, I transferred to the public school in my town, and I was the only blind person. So it was like culture shock. Not really, because I grew up with people never treat me any differently. And then like I went to being in this school where, everyone's reading print and I'm reading Braille books. Everything's different. So it was like, I just wanted to fall in the background kind of, but I tried being a class clown a lot to like kind of play it off, but really I was like just so insecure.
Yeah, bro. I mean, all of us. I can't even imagine, bro. Like I was insecure as shit in middle school and high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for the stupidest shit. I'd like, man, like how do you learn Braille, man? I'm interested in that process.
It was kind of just like how you would learn print, like around that time of my life. Went to a school for the blind and they taught me how to read and write in Braille, and it's just a whole system, and it's it's not very hard once you figure it out, but it takes time. And even my wife, she can like look at a key and like write me Braille notes, so it's really cool.
Yes.
I might sound stupid asking this question, but how do you write Braille? Because Braille is like raised. So how would you do that?
There's different machines. Like there's a thing called a Braille writer, and you load the paper up, and like
is it like a typewriter?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay, so you're not able to write Braille with like a pen type of thing.
No, hell no. Well, there's a thing called a slate and stylus, which is like you put the paper in this thing that folds over the paper. It's like pocket size. You put it over the paper, and then you punch holes into it, basically.
Okay.
Using this little like stylus thing.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So you learn something new every day. I was always wondering that because I've heard people say like read and write Braille. I'm interested in how that process works.
No, my girl tried to write me a Braille note with a pen one time, just poking into the paper, but it didn't work very well.
It's like, what the fuck did you just tell me? Because I know what I just read.
It's like, are you disrespecting me?
No, it was cool though.
That is sweet though.
Dude, all right. You talked about judo a bunch too now, man. Like, so what, when did you start judo?
After my documentary came out, one of the people that saw it was someone on the United States Olympic Committee. And they reached out to me, asking me if I would consider training judo to try and make it to the Paralympics. And I was like, why not? And it was like, that was 2018. So I learned how to do judo basically that whole year, and then started traveling around the world, going to all these different camps and competitions, and just learning as I went, and just being thrown into the fire, I guess, of like people that have been doing it their whole lives. But it translates pretty well over from wrestling. It's just, call it wrestling with like a jacket on, basically, because you got that like
gi.
It's called a gi, yeah. So it's like people that don't know, it's like a karate uniform almost with the belt and everything. And I had to learn like chokes and arm bars and stuff like that, but a lot of it translates over. Like my style is very different than your like average judo person. Like I'm more of like a barbaric like wrestler.
Okay.
type.
Well, okay, real quick for stupid people like me, what is the basis of judo, right? Like,
so it's a lot of throwing, like big throws, and then the goal is to get a full point. So if you throw someone from their feet to their back, like clean, that's a point and the match is over. Or you can choke them out or do an arm bar, and if they tap out, you win. But the main things that are similar is like it's a lot of throwing. Like I used to do this wrestling called Greco-Roman. It was like all throwing, upper body stuff. So it really translates over well from that. And then you start off in these like, you start off gripping each other, and then you like it's whoever can get to the position to like throw the other person. It started in Japan during the Civil War with like samurais. When they would lose their swords or something in battle, they would fight hand-to-hand combat with judo and like try and throw someone on the ground, put them in a hold, and then like stab them with a knife, I guess.
Nice. Hell yeah. That's dope. Yeah, that's a difference because like everybody kind of knows like jujitsu and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I do that as well, but that's just more to help with my judo. So once you get on the ground in judo, it's kind of like BJJ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
okay,
Like
that's
ground and
interesting.
pound.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. So what the when you started judo, I think it's fucking awesome because you already learned like how to like dissect your goals, right? Like, fuck, I'm not worried
Yeah.
about winning. I'm worried about getting a point, you know? And then like building off of that, when you started judo, like was that mindset helpful or whatnot?
Yeah, it definitely was. I got lucky. I had some like success almost right away with judo, but you know, the first couple weeks I was just focused on learning how to fall right and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it was like there was a whole bunch of stuff to learn, but kind of just learned as you went, you know.
Yeah, hell yeah. So what's the goals? You trying to get to the 2024 Paralympics? That's like next year?
Yeah, that's the goal right now.
Oh yeah.
But I got this kid coming too, so it might slow things down a little, but I don't think it will too much. And I was really close to making it to the Tokyo Games, and then about 2 competitions before the Olympics for qualifying, I tore my groin in practice like 2 days before the tournament. So it was pretty brutal. I was out for like 8 months, couldn't go to any competitions and couldn't qualify, but I was pretty close. And then, you know, it kind of happens. Life just happens. You can get really close to your goal, and then you get freaking pulled back a million feet. But you just got, it's all part of the journey, and you got to keep going. So we'll see how it goes, and just taking one day at a time. You know, I got practice tonight, so just training and hoping for the best.
Hell yeah. Dude.
I always say what's meant to be will be, bro. You know.
That's it. That's true.
Yeah, and it's crazy how like, man, like the thing, it's funny how like as you go through that journey, how your goals shift, right? In your perspective,
Yeah,
right?
100%. You could have one goal, and then life happens. You're like, all right, maybe this is my goal now.
Yeah, it's like you got this beautiful wife, best friend, like baby coming. It's like that's some people's like ultimate goal, and then you're kind of like, shit, that might slow down my judo.
Which I'm totally fine with. You know, like, my whole thing is family is the most important thing in the world.
Hell yeah, man. How is the skateboarding scene and shit? Like, where do you skateboard a lot now?
I skateboard at a lot of different parks. Trying to film a street park coming up in maybe over the next year, where it's like a video part to like a song, and it's all different clips from the streets. But I do a lot of like park stuff, and I've been very fortunate. Like I got to skate with Tony Hawk. I ate shit on his ramp. It's like a 13.5-foot ramp.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
Top to the bottom. But just like, I go to competitions, and they have adaptive divisions. So it's like it could be someone who's blind, someone who's deaf, someone with no arm, someone missing a limb, like any type of, adaptation or whatever. And I've had pretty good success. Like I noticed my progress. I used to lose almost every time, and now I'm like coming in top 3 most of the time. And it's just awesome. Like the community, I love skateboarding so much. It's like the first thing I found that I like truly love to do. Like wrestling and judo, a lot of stress. Skateboarding, not so much for me.
Yeah,
I really enjoy doing it. And then just, I'm lucky enough to get like Flow sponsor from Vans, so they'll send me shoes, and then a board company and different things like that.
Yeah,
and just continuing to grow in that. It's a lot of fun. You meet, like when we travel. If we're traveling, the first place we'll go if we don't know what to do is a skate park, because it's the most local. You'll meet local people, and you'll find out like what everyone's really about, instead of going to like tourist spots and stuff like that. It's very more like with the people,
That's really smart. Whenever you do the events, which events do you participate in? Do you do like street? What?
I do street and bowl.
Bowl?
So like,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's badass. That's really cool. That's interesting you do bowl though, because that's gotta be tough to navigate. Because that's like a really big navigation one.
No, it's like actually street's a little more.
Okay.
Because you gotta memorize all the obstacles. You gotta feel it out. Bowl, it's back and like it's like mini ramps and like half pipe type. So it's like going back and forth, and it's a lot easier to map out. So
Okay.
I think I'm like a little better at bowl right now than street.
I skateboarded a little bit when I was younger, and I used to think bowl was the hardest. That's because I used to eat shit when I dropped in.
Eating shit part is not fun. I always say you kind of get used to the taste of shit after you eat it.
Yeah, man, dropping in pools, man, and stuff like that, and half pipes, man. That's if you're not
hurt.
Yes, man. I hit my head so hard one time because I went to the Vans in Orlando that was over by the Argonne Mall that is no longer there. But I dropped in like this big bull. My step pops was like, "You shouldn't do that. You know, you're just getting." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna do it." I dropped in. I hit my head so hard. I don't remember. I didn't see nothing for a while, like for a few seconds, and it was.
I'm a big believer and like advocate in a helmet. Like, no, I don't care. Some people like try and say like a helmet's stupid, whatever. I think that's stupid to say that.
No, that was with the helmet.
My mom had a traumatic brain injury, and like, you know, all these kids, you see them doing crazy shit with no helmet, and you're like, dude, come protect your dome. Like, I've had enough concussions in judo, so I don't want to hit my head anymore.
Yeah. And that was with me wearing a helmet. If I didn't have a helmet that day, how hard I hit my head, I probably would have had permanent damage for how hard I hit my head that day with the helmet.
No, exactly.
Wait,
I think
you said you had a traumatic brain injury?
No, my mom.
His mom.
Oh, okay. Okay, that sucks. Jeez, dude.
Yeah, like 2015.
It's really sad.
Well, actually 2016, but she's doing great. She's amazing. My mom's the best. She recovered really well, and she's doing great.
That's good to hear. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, you can't fuck around with that stuff. Yeah, I'm with you, man. You have a YouTube video out about and some shorts about how to navigate a park, since we were talking about that. How do you do that? Explain it to those that haven't seen that video.
Yeah, man. So when we go to a new skate park, if it's a skate park I've been to, I already have it like mapped out in my head. But if it's a new skate park, my wife, usually Kelly, she'll but if she's not there, someone else. But Kelly's the best at it. We'll like walk around the park, and she'll tell me everything that's around, and I'll feel it all out, and then I kind of like piece it all together in my head, and then decide like what I want to do, and you know, just send it from there.
And then you're just memorizing it.
Yeah, it's all just mapping things out in your head. Like, all right, there's a ramp here, there's a rail here, there's watch out for that, don't go off this side type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Different things.
That is a beautiful thing too, though, because like those, like we're all have long-term relationships as well, you know, and it's like one thing when you figure out like, yo, this girl gets me, you know, like this person understands me, and it's interesting when you explain it, because it's like, look, I need help kind of navigating shit here and there, but nobody does it like her, you know, like she knows.
We're a team. Like when we're on, like when we're both on the same page and like, you know, everything's good, I feel like we're unstoppable with whatever we decide to do.
Does she ever, like, when you guys are arguing, be like, figure that shit out, motherfucker?
Definitely times.
It's inevitable.
Damn, that's funny. That's awesome, though.
That's love.
Yeah, one love, baby.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious. I'm curious on one thing. So since you are blind, does your other senses get heightened? Like kind of like not Daredevil, but you know, it's like in a sense where your hearing's better.
You're the modern day Daredevil.
So that's how it works. Because people think if you're blind, you're just born with better senses. It's more so you're using your vision every day, and that's what you focus on. Me, because I don't have my vision, I'm focusing on all my other senses. So my hearing gets more developed, my smell, my taste, like things like, and the feel, like that all gets more developed because I'm relying on it so much. So it's like with anything that you practice, you'll get better.
Yeah.
So like I listen to my phone talks to me, and it talks really fast, like to the point where not an average person could understand it. And my wife, from being with me so long, she can understand it now because she's just been around it so long. So like it's like things like that. Like you could work on it, but you definitely are. Your hearing's better. Like my parents used to call me Big Dipper because I used to listen to everyone's conversations, like sitting in the
yeah, that means eavesdropping everywhere. That's funny.
But that's true. Like if you see, like if vision is a distraction, if you put it in that perspective, like the sight is a distraction, you get to focus on the other senses a little more.
Yeah, you hone it. Well, my ears are essentially my eyes, so
right?
It's like you really need those.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that makes valid sense.
Playing music too loud.
What if you had to paint a picture of me in my voice? What do you think I look? Do you try to like visualize somebody by their voice? Yeah, do it. I think it'd be hilarious.
Oh man, no.
Do it, man.
Yeah, I kind of do like imagine what people look like. Like I imagine you're not like, so you're probably a little stocky.
All right.
I'd say you've got dark hair.
All right.
And I'd say you're of shit, don't get me canceled, but I'd say you're of the Spanish descent.
Let's go.
That's hilarious.
Yo, you're killing it, man. That's the hard part too, because I'm like, I was raised in Spanish culture, right? Like, South Florida, Orlando, Central Florida, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm very much a white, but I'm stocky. I got dark hair. But for sure, like I was raised in. My wife is Puerto Rican, like stuff like that. So
that's what I was gonna guess, Puerto Rican or Cuban, but that's like profiling. Florida.
Let's fucking
go, Puerto
dude.
Rican, so at least one of us here.
You got a good sense, bro. I like that shit. That's awesome. That's hilarious. That's great.
Hilarious.
Dude, you got I haven't tuned in. I've subscribed. 4 Bad Eyes podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Is that your buddy or was?
Yeah, that's my like homie. He's like my brother basically now. Like we became really good friends. He's an incredible skateboarder, Dan Mancina. Go check him out, Dan the Mancina, everywhere.
Hell
but
yeah.
he's like he's sponsored by Adidas, by Real Skateboards. He's the real deal in skateboarding, and he's just a great dude. Like he has an eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa, RP, and it didn't affect him till later in life. Like he had like perfect vision until he was like 21, 22. Mm-hmm. And like he could drive a car, he could do all this stuff, and then they said it'd be like a while till he went blind, but he ended up going totally blind at like 25. And he relearned everything. Like he learned how to do everything on his own. He went to school for it to like learn the right tools, and he just really like, you can go one or two ways. You either give up or grab life by the balls and figure it out. And he really did that, and it's really inspiring, how he did that. And like, because I think about that, I'm like, damn, if I could see and then I just went blind, I'd be like, what do I do now? And he just started doing it. And yeah, it's amazing. He's became like one of my best friends today, and he's got a kid, so I look up to him with that, with the blind dad stuff. And we decided to do a podcast together over a year ago, and it's been a lot of fun. We've been able to interview some great people, and just when it's just us two, it's like a great hang. So we have a lot of fun doing it.
How'd you guys meet?
We met at that skate meetup I was telling you about. It was in Detroit, Michigan, and he's from Michigan. And I used to follow him online because he had this thing in Red Bull, and he was like this blind skater that was so like, he was so cool, like when I met him, it was like meeting a celebrity to me. And I was like, shit, I'm pretty nervous to like meet this guy. And like, then we ended up going to he had like a barbecue for his birthday, and we just like hit it off, and, we really vibed together, like, similar personalities, and just loving life and stuff. And, we decided to, because he had a big platform too, and we decided to just team up and like we wanted to do something together. So we came up with the podcast. Yeah,
turn 2 bad eyes to 4 fucking bad eyes. Put Joyce,
great fucking title.
Put the forces together.
That's really cool though, because
one of our biggest hurdles was trying to think of a name.
Dude, you fucking nailed it.
Yes.
crazy.
That's really cool though, because like you had like looked up to him and it was like somebody that you really liked and stuff like that, and then now you have a podcast with him, bro. That's awesome.
They say when you start doing well, like your heroes start becoming your friends, and it's true. Like a lot of people I never thought I'd be friends with, I'm friends with today, and it's just really blessed.
Yeah, if they're actually good people too, because that's
exactly. Because they also say don't ever meet your heroes.
Yep.
And that's happened a few times.
Double-edged sword.
One time, I'll tell you a quick story. Since I went to school in Philly, I was like, brainwashed by all my Philly schoolmates. So like, I was a huge 76ers fan, all this stuff. I was a huge Allen Iverson fan. It was when like AI was big.
Yeah.
And when I was like 12 years old, my dad and my brother and my dad's friend and I went to this. It was the Nuggets versus the Nets, and it was when AI was on the Nuggets with Carmelo, and we ended up getting to like go back by the locker rooms and meeting both teams. Like I got to meet like Jason Kidd, like Marcus Gamby, Carmelo Anthony, all these guys, and they were like super sweet guys, like so nice. And I was most excited to meet Melo and Iverson. And Melo was a sweetheart. He signed like my Melo jersey, all this stuff. And AI comes by and he's like, I was like, yo, AI, like, I'm such a big fan, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh man, I gotta go. And he like dissed me. And then he's walking away and this like good looking girl stops him. And he's like, all I wanted was an autograph. And he stops and takes a picture with her and does an autograph and takes his time right after he just said no to me. Like this little like chubby blind kid when he came, I'm like all like cute little kid. And he's like, and then his boys, like he had his posse with him who weren't basketball players, but they were just like his homies. And they were like, yo, that's fucked up, man. You're not going to show love to that blind kid and all this stuff. And then he's like, oh shit. And then he like came back and tried to like, he's like, oh man, you want a picture? I was like, nah, I'm good, and walked away.
Yeah!
Hell yeah.
Let her
That's
know.
how you do it, man.
You'll never get.
AI. Still salty about that.
That's hilarious.
I don't want that picture no more.
I won't be able to see it anyway.
AI is like, did you see how good that girl looked, bro?
Yeah, right.
He's like, fuck you, man.
I was hurt as a little kid. I was freaking.
That's all right. AI is about to become problems for a lot of other people. And I'm not Allen Iverson.
Talking about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
No,
he made a stupid joke. He was saying AI is about to become a problem for more people, but he was talking about like artificial intelligence.
That's pretty good.
Thanks, bro.
Wordplay.
I tried my best.
I like that.
No, but I wanted to back to your boy, your friend. What is
Dan.
Dan the man. Do you like learning from his story? Do you think, like, would you have, because you said it kind of yourself, like, I can't imagine being able to see for all my life, like, perfectly, and then, like, that shit kind of happening. Do you feel like you liked your journey better than maybe, like, his journey could have been harder?
No, man, it's like I said, comparison's the thief of joy. You can't compare yourself to other people's stories, or else you're going to just, even with, like, creating and stuff, like, you have all these other creators and you're looking at their stuff and you're like, damn, they're killing it. Like, you got to be excited for them. You can't have like jealousy or any type of resentment, because that's just going to carry over to everything. Mm-hmm. And with him, I don't know. We're all given our own journey, and that's just the way it is. Like, we're all dealt the cards we're dealt. And, like I said, I'm very strong spiritually, and I believe that like God wouldn't give you anything you can't handle in life. So it's just how we tackle it, and he really did it right. And I say, like, I don't know what I would do, but I would pretty much try and do what he did. Like, just, I'm saying that now, but like, I don't know in that situation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why it's important to put yourself in other people's shoes, in the sense of like, dog, you think you got it bad? Like, at least you've been dealing with blindness your whole life. This motherfucker just hit it, like got hit with it out of nowhere. And it's like, you know, we're very fortunate in certain ways.
And y'all
like, I don't know.
Y'all are fortunate for finding each other too. Just like exceptional individuals that hit that same type of, you know what I mean? Like
frequency.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's like that roadblock that some people cannot get past. You know what I mean, man? It's like, fuck. It's different.
Yeah, and then you guys know, you talk to all these different people, like especially on the podcast, you get to like learn from so many people and pick up different things that will work for you in your life too. And like, we've had a guy on, our good friend Nick Mullins, and incredible skateboarder. He's like 30 now, and he could see perfectly his whole life till he was 16 or 17. He got a cut. He fell skateboarding, and he got this like gnarly rash, and then it turned into MRSA, and it put him in a coma, and he woke up blind.
Fuck.
Yeah, so like, dude, people, you got it pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, that shit sucks.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's incredible. Like he's got a kid too. He's like one of the best skateboarders I know. So, you know, people, there's two types of people in the world, in my opinion. There's people that, you know, when they're faced with a challenge, they back down and they'll just kind of rest and not grow through it, and it'll like, you know, it'll really damage them. Or there's people that really stand up and like take on life and really push through, and that's so important. Like, listen, every day is not going to be easy. Most days will probably be tough, but it's when you can lay down in your bed at the end of the day and be like, I did it, you know, I'm doing it.
Yeah. And you fall into this cycle of like numbing. That's the other thing. It's like, you don't, right? Do you do drugs or alcohol, man?
When I was younger, I used to try and like medicate and, you know, stupid drugs and stuff, and it was dumb. Like, you know, you're also like just like growing up and learning things for yourself, but like I've known too many people that have fallen into the habit of, you know, doing bad drugs, people that have died from it, and it's not a good road. I barely drink, man. I'll drink on like occasion and you know, whatever, and I think alcohol is such a poison. I have too much shit to do when I wake up that I don't want to be hungover because it affects me so much. I feel like I'm like, and like, you know, it's just, there's too much to do.
Yeah. 1,000%, dude. Wow, man. That is awesome, bro. I mean, we don't want to take too much of your time, bro. I know you got the judo classes coming and stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
But baby coming through, just married about a couple of years ago, man. We're gonna keep following you, bro. We can't wait to see what you got coming, man.
Same here. I'm excited to listen to the episodes you guys got coming.
Hey, bro, appreciate you for, you know, those of you that don't know, our listeners or whatever, we've been hitting him up for a while, and we don't think anybody like, we know why it took you a long time. Like, we barely get a little bit of traffic, and we can't respond back to anybody. So the fact that you can freaking get back to us, bro, and make this happen, we're so appreciative. This is so awesome, man, bro.
Yeah, I really mean it. Like, I try, and no matter who hits me up, I try and always get back to people, no matter what. Instagram DMs are the best, and then I send them over to my email. But I really, truly appreciate anyone that takes interest, anyone that, you know, is out there hustling and doing stuff like you guys, not just sitting around. And, you know, it's true that it takes persistence. Like, that's a good lesson for everyone else. Like, if you're trying to get a hold of someone, don't give up. Just keep the conversation going,
yes, sir.
The time will come where it works out.
Slide a couple one loves in the DMs. Just hey, I'm doing some shit, bro. Try.
That's cool though. But if you're ever in Central Florida, bro, let us know too. We'll happily go to one of your events or something like that. That'd be cool to do.
Hey, yo, let's go to Disney.
we live right by Disney too. That's the funny part.
Hell yeah, man. I'm blind. Let's ride the fucking roller coaster. Let's go. Bro. That's awesome, man. Yo, thank you again, bro.
Up, guys. I really appreciate it. One love.
One love.
One love. Out. Thank
Pocket
you, bro.
watch out.
Later.
Hey.